Welcome back, everyone. Well, as you saw, or if you didn't see in the end of the last video, I said that I was going to take 3 weeks off. And if you're still here, I just want to let you know I probably won't put another video up. I'm going to take about 3 weeks off. I've got something to do, and I'll let you know what that was after we've done it. But just want to let you know it'll be about 3 weeks before I get another one up. So if you're here, you'll know. If you don't, well, you'll figure it out. Wendy and I had something to do, and I said I would say what it was that we were doing, so figured I'd get a little machine action. But we are in Troon, Scotland right now. It's right on the ocean. We're going to be heading to the Isle of Arran, that's the ferry we'll be getting on tomorrow. But I figured this was a good place to make my intro for this next video. This is going to be, if you've never heard of Fred Dibnah before, I'll put some clips, but he was a I call him a daredevil, but he was a steeplejack, crazy, would climb these 400-foot chimneys with just putting ladders up. Just crazy, just absolutely crazy, and he would take them down one piece at a time. But he got famous. He got a show on the BBC where they put a couple of shows of what he was doing, and it just caught on because he was a great guy. And he died in 2004, and want to take a time out of this trip to go over there, see his house, see his grave, unfortunately, and to see a pub where he used to go a lot that is no longer a pub but a private residence, but we can get that in there, and whatever else around Bolton, because he is from Bolton in Britain. So let's watch the video and see where this great man came from and where he is now.
Fred Dibnah was born in Lancashire, and from his earliest years his heart was set on a life at the top.
When I was a very small boy and I used to go to school on the tram, you see these little fellas with flat caps on way up in the sky on top of factory chimneys, and that fascinated me as to how they got all the little platforms up round the top. And life passed by, and passed a scholarship to the art school, where my attitude to life changed a bit, I thought I'd end up with a clean hand job, well, they had different ideas. They said, you're very good with the hammer and chisel, you've got to be a cabinet maker. So they sent me to an undertaker's, you see, where, it sort of, bloody hell, all them boxes, and trestles, and even the undertaker himself looked like a corpse. So I thought, I don't fancy this, so I got on my bike and went to Youth Employment Office, and they said, we've got a good job joiner in here, so I became a joiner. And at weekend, I used to go out pointing houses, and a bob or two, and I got enough money to buy 5 ladders. Anyway, one day, a school teacher who used to teach me at school, he came along and he said, he wanted a job doing, you see, and he said, what's all these ladders for, like an average bloke has 1 ladder or 2 ladders, and I got 5. And I said, it's for my steeplejack business, but, it ain't going so well, So he were hard up as well. So he said, well, what's the problem like, So I said, well, I don't think I talk right for a start, They seem to think I'm a bit of a lunatic, these men. So I said, look, I know where there's a lot of jobs that need doing. For every job you get me, I'll give you £10. Well, you see, he talked posh and he had a Jaguar motor car. So I sent him off to these factories and workses where these chimneys were, and for every, he was trying his best, you see. And before long, we had a few jobs to do, you see, which we did, and made a few £100, which enabled me to buy some more ladders. And then one day, lo and behold, the Vicar of Bolton, Canon Norburn, rung up. Will you come and have a look at my church tower, which was like the biggest thing in town. And so all the other vicars, you see, around the town, I could waltz in and see them. Knowing that I've been allowed to have a go at that, like, I could have a do at their, like, lesser churches. And then after that, you know, I've never been out to work since, like, it made me day, you know, as you might say. Praise God.
This gives a timeline of everything. I'm not sure. I think that might be one of the churches that he put a weather vane on. But they're definitely changed. So this was after about a 20-minute walk from the train station. And there it is. 24 years later. No, 21 years later. It's gone through a few owners. That's the part that he added on. We'll go across in a minute. I want to get a picture too.
Who lives in a house like this? Have a guess. Even though it's been cleared out for auction, the man's left his mark throughout. Pictures of steam engines, books on engineering and locomotives. Not worked it out yet? It's Fred Dibnah's old pad. The celebrity steeplejack lived here for more than 40 years. Sadly, in 2004, at aged 66, he passed away after a battle with cancer. He was famous for his love of steam engines and architecture, and the house is being sold along with Fred's huge collection of tools and machinery.
We would hope that the buyer would maintain, recover what's there, make it operational again.
It's once you get into the garden that you really see evidence of the man and his passions. His engine shed over there, the steam boiler and chimney that used to power all that Victorian machinery you see over there, and to top it all off, come this way, a 25-foot deep mock mine shaft. Alan, can we have a look?
Yes, of course you can. Here it is. Lift this up.
Oh my God! Did he build all these things himself?
Yes, everything was built by Fred. The house has got some wonderful little embellishments. They are skills that we're going to lose in due course, and if there's anybody out there who has an interest in steam engines, steam machines, this is the place to come and do it.
The auction will be held on November the 12th, and the house is expected to go for around £350,000. But for fans of Fred, 121 Radcliffe Road's worth lies not in its monetary value, but in what it represents for Bolton's heritage and as evidence of one man's lifetime enthusiasm for steeplejacks and steam engines. Georgia Calvin-Smith, Channel M News.
There's a look from the side. I can hear some stuff going on. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so they made it be historical, but it didn't stay the museum like it was supposed to. Gonna look over the fence. Oh, it's kids' toys, and his shop was right there. He put that ball up right there, and the chimney. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So there's his mine shaft with that chimney that he built.
This is my garden, and of course over the last 40 years I've amassed a grand array of antique machinery and sheds, and of course it enables me to more or less manufacture or produce almost anything, you know, like boilers and riveting and all that sort of thing. I built my steamroller and traction engine down here. But now I've got an even bigger project on the go. It's really a bit unusual to have a pit headgear in your back garden, you know, especially if you live in a reasonably residential area. Not everybody got one, you know. The thing is that I've got a grand plan, and this pit headgear is part of it. I've got this plan to actually build a replica coal mine in my garden, which I've had for a long time, you know. And you know, I hope, you know, the powers that be will let me do it. It struck me with quite a lot of concern that wherever you went to a preserved colliery that had shut and they decided to make it into a museum, it weren't really quite like what it were like, because they didn't wine coal anymore, and there were all this violent activity at the top of the shaft had nearly all gone. What really were once an unbelievable industry that employed literally thousands of men is very poorly portrayed in museum-wise, you know. I mean, it isn't the museum people's fault. It's the fact that they don't dig coal anymore, you know. Like everywhere you go, they've got the headgear, they've got the winding engine, but it don't really do anything. So my idea is to build a working replica of a mine to show just what it were like. Most people's gardens are normally full of rose bushes and flowers and a nice lawn, you know. I've got a lawn and some rose bushes, but my garden's a bit different. To me, all the machinery is just as beautiful, you know. I like to sit and look at that, you know. I mean, to a lot of people it'd be scrap iron, but to me, the skill that went into building all them machines, you know, we've lost it. A lot of it, haven't we? It's gone. That's what I'm trying to recreate with my mine. It's very sad when you go to all these preserved collieries and you look at them and they're like a shadow of the former self, you see. The top of a mine shaft in the olden days when they were winding tubs up, it were very violent, you know. There were unbelievable action and really quick, and a lot of bell ringing and clanging and what have you, boom, boom, ding, dong, dong, and boom, gone. What I want to try and create is a scene like that. We've got all the ingredients. We've got the fans. We've got everything we need, really. We've got sauce for sawing pit props up. We've got sauce for, you know, doing everything, really. And our own metalworking machinery, which, of course, will help with all the, you know, every good colliery had its own blacksmith shop and mechanic shop where them men were second to none. They could build you anything you wanted, you know, because it was necessary. Every mine needs to have three things. Number one, a mine shaft, which of course is a big hole in the ground that goes all the way down to where the coal is buried. The second thing is the winding engine, which is really a winch, which lowers the men down to the coal and winds up the spoils from the digging operation. The other ingredient is the pit headgear, which carries the rope from the winding drum on the engine to the cage, which of course is lowered up and down in the shaft. My replica will have all of these three things. The only difference is we won't be digging any coal because that's not allowed. The first thing I did for my mine was the pit headgear way back in 1996, long before I did any digging. To actually build a pit head frame is you know, no mean feat by any means. You know, there's a lot of big iron bolts in it, 18 inches long and all of that, which of course if you bought them, you would pay a lot of money for them. And just through scrounging and circumstances, I ended up with enough materials and I made the head frame, but of course it was laid horizontally on floor, and I was really, really scared of putting it up because the council might come and tell me to take it down. Anyway, we then applied for planning permission, and the nice gentleman came from the planning department, and he said, he didn't say a lot, you know, and he went back there, and apparently what he had said were quite nice and complimentary. He said, I have examined the partially constructed pithead frame and find it has been tastefully crafted from timber and tie rods and iron plates and bars, and will be an interesting asset to an already interesting back garden. I've had that erected for some time now, and we've actually made a start on the digging. There was still a lot of heavy work to be done, and one of the first jobs was to make sure that the pit headgear sat fair and square on the top of the brickwork of the shaft on a solid foundation. There's lots of good pictures of shaft sinking like this, where they're all stood around, you know. There's always one old guy with a big belly and a waistcoat with a gold watch chain. I'm in charge.
Well, we have one of them.
I know, yeah. I can't see us having any major engineering problems, you know. I mean, I know it's a bit dodgy like, but, you know, so is jumping out of aeroplanes and playing golf, you know. I mean, you could get hit on back of the head with a golf ball, can't you, you know? Or you could be sat having your tea and a golf ball comes sailing through your window. There's little chance of us doing any harm to anybody else.
Righto!
Have we got a winder?
Hey? Oh, right.
Got a winder.
I better go and see to my duties. When everything works by steam, like the winding engine, it's much more exciting than doing it the easy way, you know, with electricity and all that sort of thing. Over the last 40 years, I've amassed like 7 steam engines. That includes, of course, the steamroller and the traction engine. It's not like starting an electric motor off, you know, you can't just go out and press a button. It takes basically a day and a bit to get sufficient steam up to run the whole plant.
Ding, ding, ding!
That's down! My wife initially kicked up a bit of a stink that she just thought, me and a woman, you know, we were just going to dig an hole and not support the sides, and the garden would disappear and the house would disappear, which is a load of nonsense, you see. I've got about 3 sets of mining management books, you know, from the great days of when they actually did it. And at the bottom of all this brickwork, there's a big iron ring that's got an hole in it, the size of the inner diameter of the brickwork. The modus operandi, that means how you do it, I think, is to get the ring, set that up at ground level, like we did here at the top at first, and then lay about 2 foot of brickwork on it, and then dig down about 3 feet and lower the ring to into the ground. So, you lay the bricks on the iron ring a few feet at a time, which provides a sort of foundation, and you brick up the gap to the underside of the brickwork where you last... To watch me beer belly. Once the ring has been lowered, this enables us to get on with another lot of bricklaying. Right, we've got the bevel set, so we can do 2 foot till the end.
What's happening with the roof? Is it being slated?
Well, yeah, I don't know whether to give Redland Roof Tiles a ring and say, I once did an advert for you, and you give me a lot of tiles for my boiler house and my engine shed, and I want a few more for my winding house. The thing is, the problem we've got is to simulate the business of the cage, keep appearing at the top of the shaft. We've got to build a railway from the top of the shaft, a little narrow gauge 18-inch railway that will come by the engine house here and do a bit of a quick turn there, and then go down the side of the valley at almost 45 degrees, you know, and it would come down to the bottom here, and the entrance to the tunnel would be somewhere over there behind me. That's, you know, that's the line we've picked from the top of the valley, which we would dig that from the bottom of the shaft on a level plane, so it come out outside the hill, well above the water level of the river. Now that it's started to rain, I could probably explain it better on a little sketch plan that I've drawn. Yeah, this is a bit rough like, but it's the general sort of three-dimensional view of it. That is the shaft, 70 odd feet deep. This is the tunnel to the river. That's the incline railway up to the top level with the top of the shaft. When the cage arrives at the landing place, which is sort of this area here, out come 2 full tubs of coal. They get hooked onto the wire hawser and they get lowered down all the way down into the valley, 70 odd feet below, detached again, shoved in the tunnel. They then freewheel to the base of the tunnel and down comes the cage at the bottom, and ding ding, and up they arrive at the top. That, you know, it's really the same two, like we said earlier, going round and round and round. You see, that'll come off there, I reckon, really, really easy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, first job's the arrow. Now the grand plan is to fire it as high up to that limb that's going out over the river as I can. And hopefully the arrow will come down somewhere in the middle of the river.
Right.
Or if there's nobody, you know.
I've every confidence in you, as long as I'm at this side of the bow.
Wait a minute. I'll say just.
There's one man across the river in Sept digging a grave. Wait till he's dug it before you fire.
Done it. Brilliant.
It's going down. It's going down.
Yeah.
It's going down. It's doing the job.
So, it's on that. It's like fishing, isn't it?
That's it, Fred, yeah.
What we're going to do now is pull the disc down with the arrow down to the bottom, and Elf, of course, has tied a knot in the string down there at roughly level with river. So we then, when he gets that white disc down at top, if he cuts it off this side of the disc, we then go and lay the string out on the pavement and measure it.
The North Pole's just going up, you see.
We've got a lot further down to go yet before we get to that level. Alright, now then. Turn it over. 70 foot.
21 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
71.
I've no need to alter the drawings even. This is not for the public use. This is for my friends and I's entertainment, as you might say. And I think that I would have a lot of people on my side if I did it, because it will be, without a shadow of a doubt, the only contrivance in all of England that like it is, and like it would be if I have my way with it, you know, and I get it to work. We've nearly got everything now. We've got the headgear. We've got about 25 foot of shafting. We've got the winding house. And these are the plans. And all we really need now is the council to approve it all. And we can get it all up and running.
Let's walk down this way a little bit. It's amazing that he was able to get his steamroller up here. Yeah, it's a shame. There's the chimney. Try to get a picture of it over there.
Yeah, like this morning we're off to Cumbria to look at a few preserved collieries, you know, and see if we can catch a few bits off them and see how they go on with it all. You know, the Florence mine at Egremont, which is actually an iron ore mine, and the egg pits, which were a coal mine in Whitehaven. And then I think we're going to Alston to have a look at a proper mine that's worked on a commercial basis. So we'll set off for Cumbria.
So we're off now. Another look at it from that way. We're gonna head down to the cemetery. Sounds good. So this literally is underneath his house, meaning down the bottom of the hill. But it's another 8-10 minute walk around.
This is probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. Everybody making their engines look as tidy as they can for the special occasion. That's the Fowler coat of arms. That's Evening Star. This is a Showman's engine owned by Mike Priestner. It's a very sad occasion, this, of course, and everybody's, well, the ones that were within reach of bringing their engine have very kindly made the effort. At least one engine had been put away for the winter, boiler drained and firebox greased up and everything, and he still made the effort to bring it along and steam it up today. This is the wall just outside his house. All this activity is taking place just outside his house, of course. There's the old trusty Land Rover, which has been off the road, I believe, for a few weeks, wanting some major work. But we couldn't leave it out on this occasion. So it was just being coupled up behind the living van there. No. There were 4 visiting engines in total, one from as far away as Nottingham. Engine owner for many years and met up with Fred at rallies from time to time. They've all come on low loaders, of course. The shed's not on fire there, it's just steaming up the roller. The tractor is in one side of the shed and the roller is where it's always been. The roller has a ventilator above it so that most of the smoke from the chimney can get straight out through the roof, but that doesn't occur in the case of the tractor. That's why the tractor's filling the shed with smoke. Killer day. The police were informed, of course, that all this activity would be going on, so they've kept the road entirely free for us, as the low loaders are parked up further down. Now this is the trailer that's going to carry Fred's coffin. It's been brought up from Worthing behind the Land Rover by Michael Webber, a young chap who used to see a great deal of Fred when he lived in Bolton, but he moved down south and now runs his own little engineering firm. He's decorated it all and he's done an absolutely wonderful job. He's got all the bits and pieces of Fred's profession. There's his bosun's chair and a hammer and chisel and some dogs on the other side, that's it. They were used for driving into the chimney to tie the ladders to. A couple of ladders there with his name, all prepared. Spent many hours preparing that trailer and done a wonderful job. We're all indebted to him. And there's Betsy, finally in steam, being driven out carefully up about a 1 in 8 slope from his back garden. It's at low level, out through the gate onto the road. That's me in the white overalls. I'm actually driving the roller. One of Fred's last requests when he was making his own arrangements. He did ask the main organiser if he'd get me to drive the roller. Because believe it or not, over the years, very, very few people were ever privileged to drive his roller. He needed a steersman, of course, and a few of his friends have helped him out steering. But he knew I was a regular traction engine driver, of course, so he paid me the honour of asking would I drive Betsy on his final journey, which obviously I was very, very delighted to be asked. And couldn't refuse, obviously. A tube leak some time previously, but the boiler inspector had a look at it and he had given it clearance. He said it'll be all right, and in fact it was. It didn't let us down. The living van will be going behind the roller with his name on, of course. The living van has been recently restored, ready for his nationwide tour behind his tractor, and there's his tractor. 27 years work, from virtually a pile of scrap through to the fine machine you see today. There's one of Fred's mining friends, probably a retired miner. I can't put a name to him, but I have a feeling that he's one of the chaps that may well have helped him out during the digging of his coal mine in his back garden. Controversial coal mine, which all the neighbours thought was going to cause their houses to disappear. Nothing of the sort. Just coupling up the Land Rover there to behind the living van. The police did an excellent job for us this day. The procession had no trouble at all, going exactly where we wanted to go. It was all planned beforehand, of course. And the police did an excellent job. They carried messages for us and they cleared the way and they gave us an escort wherever we needed it. There's the Rolls Royce, the vehicle of style that's brought him from the Chapel of Rest. He'll now be transferred onto the black wagon. That's another of his mining friends, ex-miner, runs a club at West Horton now, the Miners' Club. Now just notice how easy that coffin slides along those ladders. That's because they've all been fitted up with rollers, just for the purpose. to receive it. That's Michael Webber just climbing up now to tie it down. That's the lad that's gone to all the trouble of preparing the wagon and bringing it 270 miles behind a Land Rover. His Land Rover, that is. Done an excellent job, Michael. And that's the Elephant and Castle, which forms a major part of Bolton's coat of arms, of course. That's why that's there. Just to remind everybody that Fred was a genuine son of Bolton, just in case they'd forgotten, which I'm sure they hadn't. This is the band, a local TA band of the Royal Artillery, who volunteered for the occasion. They led the procession. Time's getting short now. It's getting close to the time to move off. We were on time all throughout, by the way. There were no delays. I visited Fred on 2 or 3 occasions during his last few weeks at the hospital and at the hospice, where incidentally they looked after him very, very well. He was very comfortable. And he did, Roger Murray and Michael visited him on a number of occasions, and that's where he expressed most of his wishes. He wanted a good Victorian funeral, he said, and by Jove, that's what he got, without a shadow of a doubt, as you'll see when we get to the church. Now this is just outside the church, and just look at the crowds there. Now I don't know whether you've ever been to a funeral where the crowds appreciate the preparation by applauding, but that's what happened there. It was quite overwhelming, really. The whole of Bolton turned out, and the applause was their way of appreciating the preparation work which had got into it. I wouldn't mind betting that this is the biggest funeral that undertaker's ever done, and ever likely to do. vicar of Radcliffe at the time, and he later became vicar of Kirby Malham in Yorkshire, and he christened the two lads at Kirby Malham. And we repaired his church tower, Fred, and that was during the time I was with Fred. He repointed his church tower, and I painted the gutters and downspouts. Well, we were there for 2 or 3 weeks. Stayed in lodgings up there, Monday to Friday. And there's poor Jack, feeling it just a bit more than most, I'm sure. Shared a lot of common interest with his dad. He's gone in for engineering, so he's got to be inherited a lot of his dad's interests. He's now with the Isle of Man Railways, steam railways, of course. This really is the day that brought Bolton to a complete standstill. There was no work done in Bolton between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock that day. They all turned out, stood everywhere they could, just looking up Churchgate towards the church from Bradshaw Gate. Patiently waiting. There we are, a cloud of steam in the background indicating that we've finally set off. There's a parade right round the periphery of the town now, terminating at the Tong Cemetery. People used to ask Fred, "Have you ever fallen off? Have you ever fallen off?" he used to say. "You only fall off this job once, and it's half a day with the undertaker," a phrase he used many, many times. It's a great pity that there was no camera up by the fire station, because the route took us past the fire station, and all the duty firemen lined up and stood to attention in a long line right across the front of the fire station, with the 4 fire engines deliberately brought out with all the lights on, and saluted us as we went past. It was a fine sight, and it's just a pity that there wasn't a camera there to pick it up, but it was certainly much appreciated by the travellers in the party. Nice to see Jack driving there rather than steering. Eminently capable. The Vicar of Bolton on the left, and Fred's friend, the vicar from Kirby Malham. And here we have Fred approaching his final resting place to be saluted in the way that he would have wished, which is not unique for a steam man, but at least it's extremely appropriate. a long blast on the whistles of the attending engines. Well, that just about sums up a unique day. A good friend of mine, Fred. As I say, I met him first about 1965, 66, and enjoyed 5 happy years working with him from 89 to 94. And he'll be missed by everybody in Bolton, and far more besides. He came over on the television as though everybody felt they knew him, and he'd a great following, and he will certainly be sadly missed by me and many, many others.
There's some old ones in here for sure. Should have stopped and got a Guinness and brought it over here. No. Here are these 1800. There. Hello.
Good morning.
So here's his stone. You can see people. I wanted to bring a Guinness, but there was nothing open. We got here so early. But people had brought flat caps and spanners.
Watch and coins. You can put a coin down if you want. I have coins.
Yeah. And just 21 years ago. So if anybody wants to see how to get here, so there's the road to come in, but you could base it off the old church there. Fred wouldn't be happy with the foundation, with the footing that they put in for it, because it's leaning forward. He wouldn't have done it that way. Neither would I. Nice morning. We're gonna put a coin. Oh, I won't go up there. I'll put it right in the middle. There you go, Fred. And I even have my flat cap on. Just another look from that direction, but that really bothers me with that leaning over. I wish we were here longer. I would fix it. So you see some beautiful ones that people have put over here. I don't know why his sons, well, they were younger at the time, but it's not a fitting memorial for him. And we came out right out of the back. I should have videoed it where we came out, but out of the back of the cemetery, we're having a nice little nature walk, And we're going to head to where his former pub that he used to go to all the time was. It's not one anymore, but we'll head over that way. So this is the shortcut. And it's nice. Beautiful in here. This is that same water that's behind Fred's house. But it's a nice, like I said, it's a nice walk. So here we are. I know we're pretty close to it. That's the Darcy Lever Bridge and the River Tong, because that was the Tong Cemetery. So there it is right there. So we walked around, so if anybody came, you could take that trail. We come up over there. There's the Darcy Lever Bridge. But I'll try to get a picture of it or screenshot or something from one of his. But that was it there. So that used to be where he went. And there was like an outside roof or seating area there. We'll see when we get back what it looked like. But that's it today. So today is September 22nd, 2025. But that's where he used to go. I'll try to get a picture of him standing out there.
Looking back on it, Fred Dibnah, the Bolton Steeplejack, reckoned the time after his divorce the worst in his life.
Like living here all alone weren't much fun really. I'd come home and put my pie in the oven and put the kettle on and watch a bit of the news and try and keep the time for going to the pub as late as possible. More often than not it ended up like somewhere around about 8 o'clock and roll down the pub and join the other divorced characters in a similar situation. I soon realised that you couldn't go on like that forever, or you would become just another bloke who props the bar up down the pub, you know. Not a lot to show for your life here on this planet.
So we're coming back in from the other angle, so we just walked from where he went to his pub, so it wasn't a very long, he didn't have a very long drive, whether he was or walking or steamrolling. But so there's a look at it from this side. So here's the statue in downtown Bolton. Doesn't look exactly like him, but got an old steam engine in there. He loved his steam engines, that's for sure. Can't really see with the sun, but it's nice that they did that.
Do you like that?
Alright, here we are, end the video. I thought I'd end it like that. That was one of Fred's most famous lines, the way he said, "Did you like that?" So I thought that was a fitting way to end it. Sorry it was a little bit long. I'm not really sorry. I mean, there are no videos out there that kind of encompass his whole life. And I also know there's probably some people that didn't even know who he was, and this would at least give an insight. There's a lot more videos if you guys are interested to go find out there and really see what he did and how he did it, and unbelievably never was injured or or spent half a day with the Undertaker, as he would say. So it was an honor to go there. It was sad. Like I said, I would have liked to have stayed longer to to be able to fix his footing. I wish somebody would go and do that. I just don't understand how it's like that. That was a long trip for us. We were probably up for about 26 hours. We slept on the plane. I mean, we had business class seats, lay down seats, so we were able to sleep a little bit. But basically, we flew from South Carolina to New York. We stayed overnight with my daughter and son-in-law. Went out to dinner with them and went out for pizza the next day. We had like a late afternoon flight, 7 o'clock flight actually. So we landed in Manchester, and then we took the train, and then we were up for a long way, and we walked about what you saw. We probably walked about I think it was a little over 8 miles we walked around on that day, and then had to get back and make it all the way to Carlisle, England, before heading to Scotland. So it was a long day. There was no way we could have stayed there, and I probably would have got in trouble if I did it anyway, but I don't know. It's just a shame. So I hope everybody got a better appreciation of him. It was nice for me. I could actually feel him there. Like I said, I wanted to bring a Guinness, but nothing was open because we were there early in the morning. So that was why we just left a coin. What else would I say about that? I don't know. I got my flat cap on. I didn't just get this. I've had this. I wear it every time when we go over there. This is the 3rd year in a row. And it was on my list, just never worked out, whereas this one was still a little bit out of our way to go, but I really wanted to do it. So I will have a few other UK series videos coming up where the movie Skyfall, some of it was filmed. I've got that footage I want to do. I've got another neat one of our car rentals. It was an SUV, different, never heard of it before, never saw it, and I don't believe we'll have any in this country, but I'm going to do a video on that. I did a little review on that. That'll be coming up as well. So I guess that's about it. I'm going to put a little bonus at the end if anybody wanted to see some more of the machine action, a little bit of the machine action. I got a little bit of machine action. We went to Donald Trump's Turnberry golf course in Scotland, and I got a little bit of footage over there from they were moving a road around, making a different cart path or whatever they were doing. So I'm going to put a little bit of that at the end, so if anybody's interested, you could see that. If not, you don't have to. So as usual, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Maybe a little bit more of a loading up logs. I'll try to catch the ferry afterwards. I missed it coming in. I was parking the car, and it came in and it spins around. It's pretty interesting. But I'll try to get a video of when we're on it. And of course now this guy's not loading anything. He's full. Getting the boat out of the water. it goes. Here we are at 4:50 in the morning. There's our boat. We just have to drive, well, you can't see my finger, but kind of where that green light is right there. That's where the road is. And so we get in line, and we'll get loaded up by 5:30. Here Wendy is making fun of me because we're left early. We're the first ones in line. I think here come the workers. We need to check in. It is 5:25. Check-in has to be over by 6, so I'm not sure why they're not in there yet.
For future information, check-in actually starts 30 minutes before.
Okay, well,
final check-in.
We're still first.
Not 45 minutes.
Remember, if you're not first, you're last.
In the unlikely event of an emergency, you will be informed by means of an emergency signal, consisting of 7 or more short blasts, followed by 1 prolonged blast on the ship's whistle, alarm bell, or public address system. On hearing this signal, you should proceed directly to your nearest muster station. Follow the signs indicating the direction you should go, identified by a square green and white sign depicting a family group. Please take a moment to locate your nearest muster station. Your attention is drawn to the emergency instruction notices which are displayed at the muster points throughout the vessel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we shall shortly be arriving at our destination. Would all vehicle drivers and the passengers please return to their vehicles? Please ensure you have all your belongings with you. Thank you for travelling with Caledonian Refrain.
And the whole front is going to open up. Today, hopefully. And I didn't even feel it like turn or bump surprise me.
They were literally gonna go.
Is he in there?
They're waiting for the big one to go. It really is 90% of business vehicles and a few cars thrown in.
There goes our food.
There's more than one of them too. The one next to me was the co-op one as well. Garbage truck.
Normal mode.
Still got those people who are just unreal. Jeez. Welcome to Erin. All traffic. Where'd they go? They went that way. Oh man, that was funny.
Hey, Rumors is here too.
Slow to stop though, because there's a
Yeah.
road here. There's cars coming. That one's turning, the one behind it is not. Guess you have to wait for her to go in front of you.
How do you get in here?
We'll go to the store first. We don't need to go here. They're not going to let us in. Right here.
I told you it was coming. Here, a quick shot of our room. We've got the balcony suite. Got our own private balcony. This is the only one with a balcony. There's our view, seating area, and right by the ferry. That's not the ferry we came on. That's the one that I showed that was leaving as we came in, but ours is back there. But I'll get a shot of it afterwards, and one that's closer. But and there's the car park. This is our second time here. We were supposed to be here last year as well, but the ferries weren't running. They had either weather or mechanical problems, so we never actually made it here last year. But we're here now, 4 days. Here comes the ferry, same time that we got here, just the next day. Gonna pull right up to that dock, and the front drops down, whereas the other one had a back in on this side. There we are at Turnberry. Lighthouse. Clubhouse. A little excavator action at Turnberry. They're closing up a path. We got a rotator on there. Pretty good with those fingers. He's ripping up the old dirt and putting it in place. It's pretty good. Like you'll never know it was there.